Look how peaceful. Peaceful, still, and quiet. I've been hearing the birds all morning. Beautiful Christmas day. It's around noon. It's around 12. Right at noon, right on the dot. Been hearing the birds all day. Streets are relatively quiet, although there's a lot of people out, but very, very still. Not as much people as a holiday. I mean, not as much people as a weekday or as a regular day. You know, very few people in comparison. I mean, train stations will always be packed, always lots of people. I'm in a suburban area. Here they call Conurbano. I was near Rafael Calzada, which is Zona Sur, which is the south side of Buenos Aires. It's still Buenos Aires, but it's south. And now I'm heading towards the Ezeiza area. That's an area lots of you may be familiar with, because if you ever do fly into Buenos Aires from an international flight, almost every international flight arrives at Ezeiza International Airport. So I'm heading there by train. This train would actually come all the way from Constitución. So this train comes from the capital and it'll connect you to Ezeiza. Train systems in Argentina are incredible. You could be connected throughout almost all of Buenos Aires by train, and it's cheap, fast, and efficient. Obviously on holidays, today will be similar like to weekend schedule, to Sunday schedule. Holidays, the trains run less frequently, but they still run. They probably end a little earlier, they probably won't run as late, but the trains still run. Neighborhood is Turdera. Not really familiar with this neighborhood, but that way I didn't have to do a train connection and head a little back towards Temperley. I stopped at this train station because this train would take me directly to Ezeiza. Love the graffitis and street arts, vandalism, whatever you want to call it. Gives it, so much character. Sometimes I could remember certain cities and certain landscapes, because I have a photographic memory by the graffiti, since I'm usually curious of that and I pay attention. There's actually a train coming. This train itself, there's few trains that go different directions and they all have different names. The one that goes, I think, from north to south, I know the name. I'm certain of the name. What I'm not certain of is the direction. I just say north to south because I know it comes from Constitución and it goes south. So I'm just making that assumption. But that train is called Tren Roca. Either lane. Either if it's heading south or north, they call it Tren Roca. Like the rock with an A. Like Rockaware. Like Jay-Z's Rockaware. And then the train that goes east to west, which is from Caballito all the way to Ituzaingó, Aedo. It goes to areas, most tourists, most expats will never go to, will never know. But it goes from CABA, which is capital of Buenos Aires. It goes from CABA all the way to west. All the way to, that one is called Tren Sarmiento. So this is Tren Roca approaching. But Tren Sarmiento you can't take from Constitución. Tren Sarmiento stops in Caballito, in Flores, and then I don't know where else. There you go, baby. Merry Christmas. Choo choo. Ho ho ho. Oh, and these are all electric trains. This country's been very fuel efficient, very green for many, many years. As you see the electricity up above, they're connected. So basically, that wire that runs the duration length of the train tracks powers the train. And for the train to reach power, basically it extends itself. See, the train extends a little better, which touches the wire. So the tracks will not electrocute you. These tracks do not have power. Please be very careful, never be on the tracks. And please note that subway systems do carry power on the tracks. Most subways have the third rail and they power that rail. Usually the further rail. They don't power this one in case you fall, you don't get electrocuted, you know, but they usually power the second rail on each side, and if you touch it, it's, who knows, 50,000 volts, you'll be killed instantly, you'll be fried. So be very careful on the tracks. These are not powered, you know, but also be careful on the tracks. The power is up there. You see all that electricity, electrical power? But yeah, I love Buenos Aires. These areas in particular are a lot more dangerous at night because they're a little more remote. So depends who you are, how you look, and sometimes doesn't depend on you. Sometimes it just depends the desperation of the hoodlum, of the thug, of the criminal, of the robber. You know, sometimes there's nothing you could do to avoid it. Sometimes I know I speak a lot about being, you know, observing, about street smarts. Oh, there goes my train. But sometimes when it's your time and you will get robbed or worse. So you just have to, you know, there's a few precautions you could take, but sometimes it's just gonna be your turn. So let's see this train. Woo. Oh, they close the doors fast.
Same rules apply for buses, for subways, and for trains. The doors open and will close in less than 10 seconds most of the times. They close the doors instantly, very fast. So you gotta get on or get off the train, the bus, or the metro as fast as you can. Do not wait around because you will miss your bus or your train. Same thing for the buses. Keep your arm up if you're at the bus stop. Make sure you're right underneath the bus stop sign because otherwise they will not stop.
It's actually the train lines. I'm here now. One here.
Please note this train takes you to Ezeiza, the city. It will not leave you at the airport. It leaves you in the city of Ezeiza, and the airport may be nearby, maybe a 10-minute Uber ride, but make sure you check your routes in advance. This seems to be another parking lot for the trains. They have some throughout the city, and here's where they park many of the trains that are used throughout the city. So it's a train yard. The cost to take the train is less than $1. It varies depending on the distance that you go. So basically you get charged an initial fee when you get on the train at the initial train station, and then when you get off the train you have to swipe your card to exit the station and you'll get charged a different fee. And here you could see the sign, it says Destino. Destino means destination. So it's telling you this train is going to Plaza C. That's its destination. So it's going to Plaza Constitución, and it tells you the time that it's leaving, which is 12:37. Trains and subways here in Argentina do not run 24 hours. They usually have their last trip around 10 or 11 p.m. depending on the day, so make sure you look at your schedule. Buses, however, most bus lines do run 24 hours a day. And here, check this out. These are all individual wagons, but they're connected inside. So this little partition in the middle connects 2 or 3 wagons at a time, and it extends the train, making it longer. I believe they probably do this for safety, and that way people could freely move from one wagon to the other wagon looking for seats or trying to switch from one place to another. But it's the same with almost every train, and it's almost the same with lots of the subways as well. Here, as I stated earlier, you can see the power line. The power line runs always along with the track because it powers the train. The train is powered by electricity, and the train needs to have that contact with that power line in order to receive the electricity. Most train stations have an underneath tunnel, basically to move from one side of the track to the other side of the track. Some of them have a catwalk that goes over the track, like a small pedestrian bridge to go over the track. This one has, this tunnel is for people just trying to cross from one side of the street to the other side of the street so they don't have to pay and they will go from one side to the other. That's the tunnel to my right. But the tunnel I'm in is part of the train system, and this train station has multiple tracks. So if you, some of these tracks go to different destinations. So if you want to cross from one side of the track to a different track, you'd have to go through this tunnel, and you could access the other ramps of the track using the tunnel. And it's very common in most of the train stations. Some of the bigger train stations like this one have multiple tunnels, and this tunnel is extremely solid and extremely safe. Just gotta be careful if you see shady people or at a different, at a time at night. Gotta be careful in the train stations, although most train stations usually have security or police officers on site. But you have to always be careful, especially in rush hour when there's lots of people and lots of movement. Here you can see I accessed the other side of the track. I was standing right next to the train. Now I'm completely on the other side. And this is the city of Ezeiza, and there's a beautiful plaza which they built, and it's almost brand new, and there's even a place where you could park your bikes. There's a bike valley. So since I'm very far out from the city, I'm going to a very private neighborhood which they call country, which is like a gated community. There's no bus routes that get me there, so I had to take an Uber. I actually ordered an InDrive, which is similar to Uber, and rideshare here in Argentina works very well, and you could also take taxis or remis. But I opted for InDrive because it's usually the cheapest option. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you appreciated the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be uploading tons of content from Buenos Aires and Argentina. If you enjoy, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. It helps my channel grow. And if you'd like to make a donation, you could do so by reaching one of these on the screen right now. Thank you guys.